What is up, you guys? We're back from match number 2. We are up against Corey Baumeister playing Underworld Breach. He's a master of the archetype, a master of the game, and he's going to give us some practice learning how to beat one of the best decks in the format right now. We're playing Pygonti's Esper Oculus deck. The Esper Splash is for this card in my opening hand, Pest Control, and it's a good one. It's going to kill their constructs, it's going to kill their Moxen, it's going to kill Tameo. It kills it all. So we're excited to be, playing these matches, learning from the best, and hopefully you learn something from this. If you want the full guide with sideboard plans, explanation behind card choices, and everything to prepare for your RC, check out the Merc Guides Metafy. Alright, turn 1 Saga with Metalcraft. And a turn 1 Emery. It's my turn to have fun, Corey said. Now, we have other plans with this pest control. I think we're just passing here. We have Thought Scour, Self, and Spell Snare as options. We're going to fetch that Hollowed Fountain. Getting ready for the Pest Control. Now, Corey does have 2 Spell Snares in his deck, so we could get completely blown out by that, potentially. Bloodchief's Thirst. Very, very sad looking at this turn 1 Emery that somehow costs 3 mana. Corey really thinking through his lines here. And these modern games can be decided, within the first 2 turns, so I think it's very smart to be considerate as to what is going on. Bobble us. I'm gonna be fetching, but... Alright, so opting to go for the Bobble route instead of the Opal route, and then... Yep. So, unfortunately, Pest Control does not destroy Urza's Saga. That would be really nice right about now, but not the position we're in, so... I guess what we're forced to decide is... Do we want to Pest Control now, or do we want to wait? Knowing that the Emery is going to be recurring cards... Unfortunately, we milled a Fatal Push. We draw a second Unearth, so we saw the good side of Unearth, and now we're seeing the ugly. I always say the good, the bad, and the ugly. We think waiting here an extra turn is just going to be the best option. We will hold up Spell Snare and cycle Unearth. And we can fire off the Pest Control next turn. Now, I think Corey is going to be pretty aware of the fact that Pest Control is one of our only ways to even stay in this game after their explosive start. So playing around pest control, trying to leave up another, Saga construct, for example, will probably be a priority. You can't always play around it perfectly. That's the good news. For example, an easy line here might be float mana with Saga, get Amber, make a construct with the floating mana and the Amber, and then have Mox Opal up. I mean, that's a great line if you have Spell Snare in hand, but otherwise it's going to get blown up pretty hard by this pest control. And I do decide to make a construct now. Which could mean they have Spell Snare, or it could mean maybe they just didn't have a better line. Getting hit for 7, but could still like our chances if the pest control resolves. We're getting hit for 8. Excuse me. Okay, I can take a peek at our top card. Hope it's a good one. And then yeah, they get to replay Bauble. This Emery is getting them some value for sure. Cycle 1 of our Underworlds. We've just about had it with that card. Ooh, okay. Fatal Push is a nice pickup. It actually lets us take away Mox Amber. Wow. Really good draw there for reasons that might not be immediately obvious, but like this Amber is representing Spell Snare, and if they actually did have Spell Snare, we now get to kill this Emery, go to second main phase, cast Pest Control, and they're going to lose everything. I mean, they'll get to crack the baubles, so they're just losing Mox, Construct, Haywire Am I? Just losing that. Even small things like that, like making sure, like I always wanted to make sure I had a fetch land so that I could be able to Fatal Push the Emery potentially. Those small things can really add up as well. Oh, I should not F6, I do have Force of Negation in hand, of course. And I probably can use this Force of Negation somewhat aggressively. So yeah, they have a full grip, they just have no lands now. I actually think with the way they ended up playing that turn, I think they could have waited and made the construct with the second Saga using the Amber, which would have let them have Opal still up, and if they actually had Spell Snare in hand, that's a huge miss. Obviously, hindsight is 100. So this Underworld Breach would... 1, 2, 3... So 1, 2, 3, get back Amber. 1, 3. So they can cast basically 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. They can cast 3 cards, and those 3 cards could be Amber, Bauble, Emery. Then the Ambers online, they get 3 more cards. They get Opal. I mean, yeah, I think this is just it's gotta be a force. The problem is now we're left with Bloodchief's Thirst Unearth, so I'm not thrilled about losing that snare, but they're gonna get so much value. And potentially even kill me that turn. I was starting to calculate it, but I couldn't fully. I should have manifested the other card. Don't want to give them information on like how many spell snares I have left, but it's not a huge deal. I mean, Underworld Breach definitely kills us here if the counterspell doesn't work, but we do have counterspell now, which I feel good about. I think holding up counterspell is much better than playing another Oculus here, because our clock is still going to kill them next turn. You know, even without the Oculus, the second Oculus, so we would be much better served just trying to protect ourselves from dying. Tamiyo's fine. We do have Bloodchief's Thirst to remove the chump blocker. And this is game 1, so... Yeah, and in chat, Corey shared they actually had the spell snare, and if they had just sequenced slightly differently, they would have They would have been able to... Wow, I can't see my cards. They would have been able to hold up the spell snare and we would have lost that game. So they had it all there, that game. But a slight missequence can cost you in Modern these days, so... Getting up these unners, these oculi. I'm a little bit dubious of this Bloodchief's Thirst, but maybe it's necessary. I think it's probably more cuttable than Thought Scour. Like, Bloodchief's Thirst can't kill... It can't kill Emery, so it's just for Tamiyo, and Tamiyo gets cleaned up by a pest control too, so really it's Emery that you're most worried about. So I'd probably rather have some cantrips to smooth out my draws. Alright, I mean, this hand... it's tricky. We're not getting a lot of card selection. Like, these cantrips are not super powerful cantrips in the sense of giving you card selection. So already starting with 4 lands and then drawing, like, 3-4 new cards over the first 2 turns means probably going to draw another land. And on the flip side, we do have Surveil lands, so there is that. But this hand doesn't really excite me very much. I guess we keep, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is actually a mulligan. Especially on the draw, like... Weak to a creature turn 1, weak to a quick breach. There's a lot of weak to Saga currently. But also, I mean, there's also a lot that we can kind of draw out of. I'll go grab Watery Grave and Thoughtseize. Oh, wait, did we walking straight into this Veil of Summer? Is that what just happened? Okay, so post-board, you gotta be careful. Veil of Summer's everywhere. And you can probably time your Thoughtseize better. I was afraid of Emery, which is why I wanted to Thoughtseize so quickly. I thought turn 2 Emery seems very reasonable if they don't make a turn 1 play. But, and it might still be what's happening here, to be fair, turn 2 Emery. But, the no turn 1 play, maybe be suspicious. Yeah, okay, there's Emery. So they just had Veil and Emery, and so I was right to want to Thoughtseize, but also walk straight into a Veil of Summer, which is not ideal. Okay. I want to save this fetch for Revolt, and I need to try to find, I guess starting with Consider there is maybe fine. I was thinking holding up Counterspell, but chances are that they're not going to go for Breach when they have the option to make Saga constructs and also just continue like getting value. The double Saga hands keep on coming. Make a construct gives Mox Opal Metalcraft. Another Mox Opal. And they left up Opal. So what does this tell us? I mean, it tells us they have some spell that costs 1 mana. It could be Veil of Summer again. It could be a removal spell. Would they really do that? I mean, we're not threatening anything. It could be Beseiju in case of like Stony Silence. Maybe they're... I mean, Harbinger just owns them anyways. Let me look at their list. Like, clearly they made this play because they have something. So they have one Veil of Summer left. They have 2 Spell Snares. So they could have Spell Snare as their last card, or second to last card, with the goal of stopping us from pest controlling them. That would make some sense. I think regardless, my takeaway here is we do need to play as though they probably have either Veil of Summer or Spell Snare. Counterspell's not going to be getting us anywhere. I'm looking for pest control. I'm looking for Harbinger. Really would be maybe the greatest draw, but alright, well, we're not drawing any of those, it seems. Fetch Shock. And I guess Fatal Push. Are we Fatal Pushing Emery here? Or is it Tamio? I mean, Emery's going to get to start bobbling us, and then Tamio gets cleaned up by a pest control, so I think playing towards pest control, Emery feels like the right card to go after. Okay, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hello.
We're joined by the man himself, Paiganti. I've been speaking the praise of your guide up on Metafy now. He's calling in. It's 2 a.m. in where are you, Prague?
Yes, I'm like on the sofa on my friend.
That's dedication, folks. That's dedication. So yeah, this particular game I would say is not going so well, but so far we won the first match, and now we are in the second match and are up a game. So not
Just Lopez control. Easy.
not a bad spot to be. Um, I put us into a position where if we draw pest control, we are in very good shape um, by fatal pushing their Emery, but that requires us to draw pest control. So mill ourselves. That's not pest control. And boom! Oh, that's not pest control either. Okay, we die. Alright, so once again going to game 3. Game 1, very interesting. We had a very timely draw with a fatal push that let us kill their legendary creature, turning off Mox Amber. And then second main phase, we pest controlled, and they actually had Spell Snare in hand, so it was a
Okay, so
nice play.
um,
And if you look,
usually on the play, I'm starting to change my plan, and yeah. But I'm also thinking that I like to play the aggro game, so I usually keep in like 3 Oculuses and like 3 Unearths and the Scours and cut the Murktides.
okay,
But it's a test, so I'm not sure it's good. You cut
uh,
the Considers.
you cut the Considers instead. Okay.
And you maybe can cut like one counter spell or one consider.
I will say certainly. I mean, we had a turn to Oculus in the first game of this set of matches, and that completely changes the game. I think this has to be a mulligan on the play, but I mean, if you want to
I
be
keep.
crazy, you could
I
keep.
keep.
So you're setting
I
us.
would
I
keep.
mean, we have a surveil land, right? And then we have 2 looks. So we're looking at population 52. We have 18 hits and sample size of 2 cards. We need 1 success. I mean, you're only 58% to hit your second land. Are you sure you want
But
to
I
keep
think.
this hand?
Yeah, like I think even if you don't like, I think this one is fine even if you miss your land drop. But I don't know. Like I'm a psycho usually, so it's up to you. I would keep this at my RC to be honest.
Okay. We go for broke here on Merc Guides. We don't take any. We don't take the conservative line. We want to get first place. That's what Paiganti's saying here. So we'll pass it over. I mean, it'll be interesting if they play Tamio. Can we afford to start scolding it? Might
Yes.
have to. Ideally, they do not play Tamio, and we get to surveil. Under city sewers. I mean, not even. Wow. Just the actual goat, Paiganti himself, ladies and gents. He knew it all along. The
So
58%.
wait. Do you know what they have in the deck?
What they have?
Like the sideboard.
Yeah, we know we're playing open deck list, preparing for the RC. So their deck list
Okay.
has what cards are you interested in?
Counter magic and Stony and answers to Stony.
They have 2 spell snares, and then they're gonna have 3 Besejus as answers to Stony as well.
How many disputes?
No disputes.
Ooh. Okay, so jump the frog.
Yeah, I think the frog seems like the right play. I mean, they haven't even played any artifacts out quite yet, but just
I think
getting
their plan is just to jam all the artifacts at once. in my opinion.
Yeah, I think with especially with force of negation, we're probably like we're not in any risk right now. We might be getting spell snared as well. So
It's good if they snare this because they don't snare the Stony.
yeah, exactly. The Stony will hopefully now resolve. Next turn, I might consider the Stony.
If they play Emery, yes.
Well, certainly, yeah. If they play Emery, I think Stony makes a lot of sense. But even if they make no play, the Stony could still be interesting.
I think I like to play the Frog.
I think they should just play Grinding Station and pass here. What could go wrong? Okay. I think this is okay to let resolve personally.
I like to just keep force for
Breach,
the outer threat, yes.
the actual threat, yeah. Okay, so they could get a Tameo or a Mox Opal.
-1 Veil, very good.
Yeah, they have 2 Veils total, so I did get Veiled last game, turn 1 Thoughtseize, and they had the Veil. It doesn't feel good. Some things never change. So they chose Tameo as the card to put in their hand.
Pog.
I mean, now we can Stern Scolding the Tameo, so it seems like just playing out the Frog is still the best move, personally. But
Yeah. And now it's insane.
getting some amount of pressure in play, whether it be card draw or actual damage pressure with Oculus, does seem important because they have a lot of grindy tools to continue to get them value. Emery is one. The Urza Saga is a huge one, so we have to be careful of that. But I think we can just do an island here
I like to take 2 damage, just in case.
for for the Watery Grave.
Yeah, just in case you draw like Foxes or something like that.
Okay.
Like I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe
they don't
we lose to
really
Saga,
pressure. They don't really pressure your life total very much. So I think you're probably right on
I
that.
think if they played the null and drop this turn, maybe you could consider to play Island. But otherwise, I think it's fine to play Tamio. Sorry, the Watery.
Makes sense.
Just
Makes
because
sense.
it's another turn for Saga,
Yeah. Another Tameo. Fair enough. I guess I maybe shouldn't have F6. We do have Force Negation in hand. I didn't think they were going to play anything worth forcing, but it's presumptuous. I mean, I think we can attack, and if they block with Tameo, we discard Frog and Watery Grave. We have Fauna
agree,
to protect.
100%.
Like if we, yeah, we can't not attack. I think that gives them too much. Yeah, I think we do need to attack. Notably, I mean they have Baseju open right now.
How many in Elite they play?
They play 3.
Okay.
I don't think we want to discard anything in this case. Like,
Oh.
any blue card means we could play another Frog and Stony Silence, so... I think holding up Force of Negation is pretty important, so we might just need to play Stony and pass, but... I guess...
Yes.
Yeah. The other
Well,
nice thing is that we can actually... If they do Beseiju the Stony, we have Hardcast Force of Negation open, so...
yeah, that's true. So do you think you need another pest control or another Stony, or the sideboard seems fine?
Maybe Pest Control.
Number 4. Okay.
Oh, but I also... I wonder about, like... Ideally, really, you want another way to kill, I think, Tameo and Emery and potentially Constructs, but I'm not sure. I don't know if there's a card that does all three.
Well, I'm playing Bloodchief Thirst in the last list. I don't know if you copy that.
Yeah, that's the one I have. Bloodchief's Thirst doesn't really kill Emery very well. I mean, it's pretty unrealistic.
Yeah.
I actually think maybe it could be sideboarded out, but...
You can play maybe Cut Down.
Yeah, Cut Down is, I think, a card that could be worth testing. It's just pretty poor in the mirror, but it's fine.
Yeah, and also like versus... I think that the allure of playing Cut Down is you kill a Johnny when it flips.
Sure. Yep. Okay. Start by attacking, I think. Do we want to give this frog flying to take away their ability to chunk block?
I like if they waste a mana.
I mean, it's wasting a mana. It's not wasting a mana. They deny us a card. It's like sacrifice this Eldrazi spawn and we discard a card, and they gain a life. You can always frame it a different way.
I prefer to contain their mana, to be honest.
Okay. Okay, we can attack.
But by how they play, I really suspect they won't block, but maybe. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I'd like to develop another frog here. I do think probably we're gonna get Beseju'd, if I had to guess. So maybe.
It's fine. Just
I guess
play
then
it.
I can fatal push Tameo maybe. Oh, Odawara.
Fine.
Should we just fatal push the Tameo now?
I don't think so. Let them use some mana to flip it, and then you push it with the trigger on the stack.
Well, they're not gonna try to flip it, are they? They're just gonna use it for, like, if they have Mox Amber, they're gonna use it to get another clue. I guess really the clues are probably not very good here when we have two Psychic Frogs in play, so...
But also, like, it's either they kill us this turn, or...
Stony comes back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. So holding up Fawn, I mean, we don't have two Fawns up regardless, but...
Now maybe you want to push. So you don't want to push.
Sorry, I had to mute for a second. So you think you would fatal push or would not?
I think so.
They get Metalcraft now.
Yeah.
I think I agree. I like fatal pushing here.
If they have 2 breaches, it's problematic, but you need to have breach grinding to win.
And we just need to your point, survive to next turn, and we probably get to resolve Stony. And we also get to draw some cards with these frogs, so. Alright. Well, they know the last card in our hand.
Yeah, this version pressures them so much. Like we have so many inevitability now.
Feels like a very close game to me. Draw off clue, looking for Veil of Summer, potentially. They might have Spell Snare still. Okay, let's start by getting some cards.
Just to make sure I have shoot the Sheriff of Arbiter Triumph in my last list, but it's fine.
I agree with that change, for what it's worth. Start with Thoughtseize, in case they have any... Oh, wow. Okay, well, their hand is not very good. This is the thing, from our perspective, we're like afraid of what they could possibly have, but maybe actually just playing the Oculus is better there. If they if they draw Breach and we don't have the Stonian play,
I like your play, Max. Don't worry.
Yeah, I think that my play is still fine. It's a little conservative, but I mean, even having the Bitter Triumph means we have some moves against the construct. So their hand is just 2 opals and then 1 unknown.
If they block, you probably discard 2. Or maybe you want to still draw. You don't care. I think it's fine to make them fly.
And we know their last card is, or we know their last 2 cards are both Mox opals, so those aren't gonna get very far.
Okay, it's interesting to note that if Oculus was more tied, it would have been the same. So it's not super relevant as change.
Yeah, not in that spot. I think your
I think,
your
yeah,
instinct might be right about having some type of explosive draw potential is pretty nice.
just on the play though, on the draw, you really need to use your mana
Yeah.
very carefully. You don't want to draw an earth.
All right.
Go 2-0.
Yep, 2-0. So we
Okay.
get that match. Let's see if there's time for one more.
Okay, I think I will leave you because
Thank you guys so much
different.
for watching. Really appreciate it. And potentially we might have one more match coming your way. Otherwise, take care. Peace. Thank you, Pi, for joining.